Welcome to the faculty tutorial on creating a wiki. A wiki is an editable web page. You will create a wiki for groups of students in your class for one of the required assignments. It is recommended that you keep the groups small, so 2, 3, 4 students max, depending on the size of your class. So we're going to show you the simple process for creating a wiki. There will also be another video on how to use the wiki in the course. First, you start by going to Groups in your menu bar on the left. Click on Groups. You'll see you have two choices. When the window opens, we're going to go to Create Single Group. And in this particular case, you want to choose Manual Enroll. And the reason you want to do that is because you're going to select the students that go into the group. So you'll click on Manual Enroll. Now you have some choices to make. You have the ability to create a wiki for each week, for each group of students, or you can create a wiki for a particular group and use that wiki for the entire course. Depending on the amount of posts that are going to be in the wiki, you would have to consider whether or not you want them all grouped together and everything for that group is in one wiki, and whether or not you would like to have those broken down into weekly pieces, as that might be a little bit easier for grading. So again, that's your call. Either way, I'm going to show you how to do this, and you would just do this for each group for 6 weeks or for each group one time. So the first thing you have to do is give it a name. You can do as simple as Group A Wiki. If you were going to do a group wiki for each week, I might do something like identify this as Group A Wiki for week 1, and then you would just follow that naming convention going forward. In this case, I'm just going to make a single wiki. You need to give it a description, and then scroll down to look at your other choices. You want the group availability to be yes. If it is no, nobody else can see it. So where this might come into play is if you wanted to build this ahead of time, but you wanted to make sure that students did not go into the wrong wiki in another week. And identify that if you said no for weeks 2 and to the end of the course, nobody would be able to see it, then you just have to come back in to edit and turn this on by saying yes. But if you're just going to build one that you're going to use for the entire course, then identifying it as yes is appropriate. So that's the default. You just leave that alone. Now in this case, we're creating a wiki. This will look familiar again because you also have to do the same thing for a blog in this class. I'm going to be showing you that video a little bit later on. But all you have to do here in section 2, tool availability, is to get rid of everything that you don't need. Since we are creating a wiki, we can get rid of everything else. Now your choices at this point, and once you leave the wiki checked, is no grading or grade. Now this wiki will be graded on a weekly basis, but your instructional designer has already built in a grade column in the grade center for you. So you do not have to list any grading features here. You don't have to give it any points or identify this as a graded wiki. If you do accidentally do this, you'll end up having duplicate columns, which you don't want. So in this case, you have no grading. Leave that alone. That is the default. Allow personalization. You can keep this checked. I usually keep it checked. You can uncheck it. This would allow some students to go in and you can play with some colors, and there's not a lot you can do, but there's a little bit from a creativity point of view. It's not a big deal to me. Most students don't do anything about it. I just leave it alone. So here's where you identify the members of the group. Every student who's in your class will be in this group. So the membership here is the list of everybody. The one thing that you have to do first is identify yourself and move yourself over to this box. If you've ever used the communication feature and sent email to the students, through Blackboard, this will be really familiar to you. So you just identify the students that you want. If you're going to break your class down into 3 or 4 groups, make sure your name is in each group. So we move some people over here. If for whatever reason you go, oh, that's the wrong person, I've already put them in a previous group that I made, you can just grab them, use the arrow back in the other direction, move them over. Once you have everybody, it's a matter of submitting. Okay, now you have your Group A wiki. Real quick, we'll do another one. Create single group, manual enroll. Give it a title, give it a description. Group available, yes. We eliminate everything else, so that the only thing that remains is wiki. Again, we want no graded. I don't care about the personalization. Remember to put yourself in as the instructor. If you don't go in here, you cannot see anybody else. So then I put a couple more folks in there. I get my next group picked, and I click submit. We've now created 2 wikis. You would do this for all of the groups in your class. And again, if you decide that you would like to have these weekly so that the documents and the material that's inside the wiki is a little bit more separated, you can do that. Once you watch the wiki video on how to use a wiki, that might help you make that decision for you. I do want to show you one other thing, and that is to completely finish this creating a wiki, you need to get it started as the instructor. So I just clicked on, in this case, the Group A wiki. Normally, your groups will be listed over here on the left side, the menu bar, in these green boxes. You can click on either one of those to get to this particular page here. This shows you who is the team members here. So if you're looking for somebody particular, you can't remember what group they're in, just click on a group and it'll show that. The only other thing that you're ever going to use in here is the click on the group wiki, which takes you to this particular page, creating a wiki page. Once a wiki is created, it'll take you to the wiki page. So in this case, wiki for Group A, and this is the wiki page we will use if you are in Group A. Please enter your work below. At this particular point, this happens to be the first line. Gotta fix that. This happens to be the first line in your wiki. So any student who's in this group, or you as the instructor, if you need to add anything, you just start typing just beneath the previous amounts of work. As you understand, from a wiki, it's an editable web page. So that means anybody in this group is going to have the ability to add content, to edit content, or delete content. Nothing else needs to go in here unless your particular job is to add more stuff, so you hit submit. And I'll talk a little bit about the layout here in the future video, and that's more of how to use it, as far as how to move around, how to get history of previous posts and so forth. At this particular point, that's all we need to talk about. This is called creating a group wiki. Thanks.